Chapter 1. The Journey. The space traveler, Richard Langdon, was a man of few words. He'd been born on Earth, but lived most of his life in the quiet expanse of space. He had left behind the noise of cities, the confusion of politics, and the chaos of people. His ship, the Wanderer, was his only companion as he drifted further from his galaxy. No one cheered for his departure, nor did anyone feel his absence. He was a man who lived for the silence of the stars. Chapter 2. The Isolation. Years passed in the cold of space, each day blending into the next. Langdon had mapped stars, catalogued planets, and sent back his findings to a distant Earth that had all but forgotten him. But he continued, driven by something he could not name. Perhaps it was the promise of discovery, or perhaps it was the desire to see just how far the universe could go. His ship was old now, and so was he, but still it moved forward. Chapter 3. The Edge. One day, after what was an eternity, his instruments detected something strange. The objects in the universe were thinning. The stars grew sparse, the blackness deeper. He checked his readings again and again. He was departing from all the clumps of matter in the universe. He felt a pull, a quiet call to continue, though logic told him to turn back. But Langdon had never been one for turning back. Chapter 4. The Silence. The stars disappeared entirely, leaving nothing but an impenetrable void. The Wanderer's systems began to falter, struggling to navigate in a place where even light seemed to fail. Langdon felt it too, a deep, resonant silence that pressed against his mind. It wasn't just the absence of sound, it was the absence of everything. No signals, no stars, no time. Just him and the ship, drifting on the edge of existence. Chapter 5. The Encounter. It was in that silence that he saw it, an undulation across the black horizon of reality. He moved toward it. As he approached, he realized it wasn't like anything he had ever seen before. It was a ripple, a wave of light and darkness, moving in an endless cycle. Langdon watched, mesmerized, as the universe itself seemed to breathe in and contracting. Chapter 6. The Revelation. As he drew nearer, he understood. The edge of the universe wasn't an end, but a beginning. The ripple was the heartbeat of creation, the pulse of growing towards infinity. Langdon's mind grasped the enormity of it, the simplicity. The universe was growing larger, and he was standing on the precipice of it, and what was beyond. Chapter 7. The Understanding. He sat back in his chair, staring at the ripple. He knew that he could never go back. Even if he wanted to, he was captured by the void. There was no fear, only a deep, profound sense of what must be done. Langdon had always sought something that felt as though it didn't exist, and now he realized that the answer stood before him. He must press on. He must see what is on the other side, the ripple. Chapter 8. The Final Transmission. Langdon sent one final message back to Earth, a brief transmission with coordinates, and a simple statement. I believe my coordinates mark this edge of the universe. I am going to take my ship, Wanderer, to the other side. With the remaining power in his ship, he sent himself drifting into the void, his eyes never leaving the rippling of light that marked the edge of the universe. Chapter 9. The Convergence. As he watched, the ripple began to change. It expanded, reaching out toward him, not as a force of destruction, but as an invitation. He felt the pull, the subtle shift in his consciousness. It felt as though the animating force behind his eyes was bleeding into the undulating ripple. He was being absorbed. He was becoming part of the pulse. The physicalness of his body and of his ship disappeared. Then all at once he felt incomprehensibly vast and unified. He could feel the very pulsation that drew him in, But the most overwhelming feeling was hunger.